I'm going to start this video off by saying anything negative I've ever said about Capcom in the past, I didn't mean it. So we're going to strike it from the record and pretend it never happened. So since the Nintendo Switch was announced, myself and many others have been hoping that we'd get a Monster Hunter game on this thing. Easily the series I was most excited to have make its way onto this platform. Now, we did technically get Double Cross, but that was only made available in Japanese. Sure, you could still buy it, but you'd have to play the whole thing in Japanese. And of course, earlier this year, Capcom released Monster Hunter World, bringing the series away from Nintendo platforms to make a bigger, more grandiose experience. So it seemed like it probably would be a while before we got anything in terms of Monster Hunter. Certainly with World, the Switch wasn't going to be a priority. Earlier today, though, we found out that's not the case. We got a trailer for Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Yep, we're getting Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter in the West, boys, releasing on August 28th of this year. And, oh, does it feel good? It really does. I actually just tweeted out the other day that I was starting to hope that the Diablo 3 rumor turns out to be true. I still would like it to be, but I wanted a new game I could really dump a lot of hours into. Yeah, I still hope Diablo comes over, but in terms of getting into a new grind, I think Monster Hunter will work. Now, almost immediately after this was announced, I've seen a lot of people kind of hating on it, ragging on it, like, oh, no one who's got Monster Hunter World is going to want to play this. We don't need it. No one asked for this. No one asked. I see one of the top comments when Nintendo tweeted this was like, nobody asked for this. It makes me sad. Sad that there's just so many casuals out there. I mean, I should have figured that, yeah, Monster Hunter World was baby's first Monster Hunter game for a lot of these people. So they're probably not up to the task of taking on any more, and getting such a deep, intense gameplay experience was probably a bit too much for them to handle. I mean, if you're in this camp, oh, you don't want it, nobody asked for this. I know David Cage has his, what is it, the Robot Lives Matter game coming out. Maybe that's probably a little bit more up your alley. Real games are a lot to deal with. I understand if you can't handle it. Myself, I'm more of a why not both kind of guy. And I'm not trying to hate on Monster Hunter World. I've sang its praises since it first came out. But I mean, come on, seriously hating on more people getting to experience this game? What a joke. But Monster Hunter is something I always want to have at the ready. Be able to bust out wherever, whenever. And with this version, I'm probably going to end up playing it a lot like I did Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, with that game being playable on the Wii U and the 3DS. With that game, I mostly did the BS stuff like gathering, investigation type missions and that, went on a bus or a train. But then, I'd get home and then put the save on the Wii U to do like multiplayer runs on the really tough monsters and that. And I think that'll be pretty much my same deal here, except, now I don't have to deal with that annoying transfer stuff, sending my save back and forth. Oh, that was annoying. Nothing worse than busting out the game on my 3DS at the start of like a long train ride, just to realize I forgot to get the save off my damn Wii U. No longer though, as with the Switch, that's not something you have to worry about. But speaking of save transfers, you're going to be able to transfer your 3DS save of Generations to this Ultimate version on the Switch, which brings up a bit of a question itself. Obviously, if you already played Generations, you have to decide whether or not you want to bring that save over or start fresh. But for me, and anyone else who doesn't have that game, I'm seriously considering picking it up on the 3DS to get a bit of a head start. As soon as I saw that confirmed, I checked GameStop where they have like copies for like $20. That's not bad. Maybe get some earlier parts of the game at least over with so I can jump right into the deep end on launch day with Ultimate. I might do that. Let me know what you guys are doing. Are you transferring old saves, starting fresh, or are you considering grabbing a 3DS copy like me to get started early? I'll be really curious to see what everybody's plan is with this. But perhaps the most interesting thing about this announcement is when it got released. Now, of all the time and places they could do it, we're almost exactly a month away from E3. This would have been a really nice surprise to have in that show, but they chose to put it out now, randomly. Also, there were a couple of other things today. New trailers by Nintendo for games like Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers as well as Hyrule Warriors. Nicholas announced a new puzzle fighter sort of game for the Switch. Yeah, this stuff isn't earth-shattering. Monster Hunter, I would say, is a pretty big deal, though. And it seems odd they didn't save it. Could this mean that they just have such a packed E3 lineup that they felt they didn't need something like this? You know, maybe it could just be like the game is really close to being released, so they wanted to announce it earlier. Just seems kind of odd to be dropping announcements like this before E3. I mean, if curiosity wasn't already at an all-time high as to what Nintendo has planned for E3, it's like, it just makes me even more curious. But yeah, I wanted this to be more of a quick video. Just wanted to express my happiness and excitement to get Monster Hunter on my Switch. Let me know your thoughts on these developments in the comments. What do you think about the announcement itself? Are you going to be playing this game? And do you think this may say something about what they have planned for E3? As always, I'm John Zacari, and thanks for watching.